Hi there again, BookTube, Leanne here, and welcome back to another video. So today I want to tell you how many series I have to get through. Send help. So as you can see, there's a stack of books next to me. That's just some physical books of series that I have. Some series that I have are actually digital, so I can't include them in the image or in the stack of books, but I have a lot of series that I've started or I'm about to start, and I don't know when it's ever going to end. If it's ever going to end, I might as well just jump straight in and tell you how many series I'm reading, what series I'm reading, and maybe what I think so far. So shall we get started? So I have the dust jacket of Seven Souls by Terry Goodkind here, and this is the Richard and Kaylin novels of like post Sword of Truth series. So I'm rereading these, so they're not like urgent because I've already read them. But the reason I'm rereading them is because I reread the entire Sword of Truth series recently, or last year, something like that. I'm getting through the Richard and Kaylin books so that I can then get onto the Children of Dahara series and the Nikki Chronicles, both of which I started when they came out originally, but then kind of lost track of because they were kind of coming out at the same time. So I thought I'd just do a full reread of a huge massive series. I can't believe I'm this far, to be honest, but then again, I've read Sword of Truth multiple times, so it was kind of quick for me. So yeah, I'm currently rereading Severed Souls, which will bring me to Warheart, which is the last book in the Richard and Kaylin novels. So I'm very close to finishing these, so hopefully if I read this month and Warheart next month, I'll be finished with the Richard and Kaylin series, and then I can start on Children of Dahara and the Nikki Chronicles, which are nowhere near as big, so I should be able to get through them much quicker. So that's the first one that I'm needing to get through. So the next series that I've been reading for a while on and off is the Heroes of Olympus series. So I read Percy Jackson a while ago, and I've been reading these kind of slowly on and off here and there. So this month I will be reading, hopefully, the Mark of Athena. I'll be buddy reading this with a couple of people on Brooks Book Nook, and I will leave the Discord for that in the description. But this is another series. I mean, I've only got this and two other books in this specific series, so hopefully I'll get through them this year, but we'll see. I'm quite enjoying these. I don't think I'm enjoying them as much as I did the Percy Jackson series so far, but hopefully I will start liking the characters more soon and start bonding with them more, so we'll see. Another series I've been reading for a very long time is the Game of Thrones. I don't know when I'm going to get through these books. Eventually, just with his final book not coming, and we don't know if it's ever going to come, it kind of puts me off getting through these books. I've read this, and I've also read A Clash of Kings, and then I didn't continue, and I think it's just that knowledge of him not bringing out this final book and not knowing if or when it's coming. Hopefully I'll get through them all, because I've heard nothing but good things about the series. It's just the fact that I don't know if I'm ever going to get an ending to the series. That's the question. But I enjoyed Game of Thrones and Clash of Kings when I read them, so I really am hoping that I get through them. And I know there's a massive diversion from the plot in the series to the books, so I want to see that, and I want to see how I feel about the characters as like a different thing. But this is another one. So another book series that I'm reading is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. And I've read this and I've read the second book. I enjoyed the first one loads more than I enjoyed the second one. And the third book should be coming out at some point. Again, I'm not really sure when, but I've been waiting a while for it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book specifically. The second book was quite good, but again, didn't really beat the first one for me. But I think it's a trilogy, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish this one and tick that off my never-ending pile of series that I'm currently in the middle of. But yeah, I really enjoyed this world. I thought the magic system and them fighting to get their magic back was a really cool aspect. And I'm hoping that I can get the third one at some point and get that read too. Hoping that it comes back up in my book because the second one wasn't as good. So I'm hoping the third one brings it back up and is as good as this one. So another series that I've started recently actually is The Greatcoats by Sebastian de Castell. This is a recommendation from Ellen from the Library of Alexandria, as well as Jade from Jade Ray Reads, and they both absolutely adore this series. It's one of their favourites. So I read this and I did actually really enjoy it. There is like a certain section of this book that was weird and I wasn't quite sure about it, but the rest of the book was great. So, great coats. Anyway, I've got to read Night Shadow next at some point. I'm hoping to fit that in maybe next month or the month after. It's just I've got so many books to read. But I'm really hoping to get through this. I really enjoyed the first one, like I said, so I'm excited to carry on. A trilogy, I suppose, that I'm going to get through as well is the His Dark Material series. I've read Northern Lights and another book I quite enjoyed. It's one of those books that's written very prettily and all that kind of stuff, so it was a slower read, but I did actually really enjoy this, and I want to see what happens next in the world because something happened at the end that I just want to know what's coming. So I don't think it happened in the book, not in the books. I don't think it happened in the movie. I haven't seen all of the show as of yet. I don't know if I'm going to get to it or what, but I am excited to get through this as well. So eventually I will carry on with this. Now, this is the book series that I probably will not get done for many, many years to come because it is the Discworld by Terry Pratchett. These are books that you can just jump into from time to time, not having to remember a stupid amount about the last book because they're all kind of stories within themselves. So yeah, this is the one I read last. I'm reading them chronologically because I'm weird. But yes, I read Mort last. It's Sorcery next as far as I'm aware, so I need to buy that at some point so that I can read it. But this is going to be an ongoing series for me for probably many years to come, so I'll be slowly collecting them and reading them as I go. So Discworld, and as Alan puts it, everybody should be reading Discworld. Now, a beast of a series that I'm also reading is the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. I mean, this is the first book. It is a beast. I read this recently. I need to get the second book. I do have the second one on Audible, so I can read it at some point. But yes, huge fantasy world. I mean, it's a really cool plot. It's just there was too many bridges for me. Too many bridges for me personally. It just kind of went on and on and on about these bridges. It probably could be considerably shorter if Brandon Sanderson wasn't so caught up on bridges. But I did enjoy this. I gave it 4 stars, I think, and I do want to carry on with the series. So I think this is the biggest one in the series, so I'm hoping that I can get through the other one a little bit quicker than I did this one. Another series that the third one isn't out for yet, and I've read the first 2, is the Band series by Nicholas Eames. These books have got to be up there this year that I've read because these books are amazing. This and Bloody Rose are fantastic. So I would say Gideon the Ninth is the best book I've read this year, but these are up there with the top books of this year because I thought this world was amazing. There's like loads of pop culture references, rock kind of music references that probably I didn't get as well as other people, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book of Bloody Rose because the world it's set in is awesome. The characters are just wonderful, and I fell in love with all of them. and it's just these middle-aged men going on a quest when they've like retired, going on these sort of really dangerous quests to fight monsters and stuff. And they've got aching backs and muscles hurting that they didn't even know they had, and it's hilarious. The relationship dynamics between these friends is amazing, and I highly recommend this series. But I am waiting for the third book to come out, and again, can't remember when that's going to be, but I'm very excited and it's highly anticipated. I then buddy read The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty on the Shelf Space server on Discord, with a bunch of people, and I really enjoyed this. I wasn't a fan of the romance in this book particularly, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I do want to continue on with the series. They're all on script, so I can read them kind of whenever I want in a way, but not fully whenever I want because TBRs. I'm excited to carry on with this because I've heard that the relationship aspect of the series doesn't matter as much later on or in the second and third book. So I'm excited to see more of the world. I'm excited to see what happens with the characters, and yeah, I'm just excited to see more of this world because it's the first book I've ever read with Jin as the main kind of characters and the main aspect of the book, and I found that so interesting. It's set in like Egypt and all that kind of stuff, so it was really interesting to get a new kind of environment and perspective and all that kind of stuff. So I really did enjoy this, and I highly anticipate reading the rest of the series. As before mentioned, this. I know the third and fourth book aren't out yet, so I'm waiting for those. I've read Gideon, I've read Harrow, gorgeous books. Favourite of the year. I mean, Tamsin Muir is just an artist, having wrote these books. Absolutely amazing. I love them. So, highly recommend these if you like sci-fi, fantasy kind of crossover. It's not wonderfully sci-fi in the first book, but it gets more sci-fi in the second. And I just adore. I had to get my own copy because I read these on audio and Kindle, but I'm waiting for the paperback of Harrow come out, and I can't wait because it's gorgeous. Yes, I'm happy to be in the middle of the series. I highly anticipate the next one coming out. So that's everything physical that I've started, I guess. But this month I will be starting the Wheel of Time series. So on top of all these Wheel of Time is going to be added into the mix, and I know that is a massive dedication. Like, I'm going to have to get through 14 books, and I'm going to be reading one a month for the next 14 months, including this month. So yeah, I'll be starting Eye of the World this month. I've already read this, The Great Hunt and The Dragon Reborn before, but I just had all these new shiny books that I wanted to read, and didn't. But I think having a buddy read going on and being able to discuss the books as I'm reading will really help push me to get through them all, because I actually really enjoyed this world, and I was really enjoying myself with the characters and where they were going and what was happening, and I don't know why I just put it down. So I'm very excited to make myself read all of these books because I know I will enjoy them. So Eye of the World is being thrown in there and all. So that is all the physical books. Let me just mention a couple of comics. So I'm reading the Full Metal Alchemist manga series as well. So I'll be reading number 4 next. Again, like, I can kind of pick these up whenever because it's easy to remember what happened and where I am. So I'm not in any massive rush to get through all of these, but they're quite quick to read, and I can kind of fit them in between books sometimes. So this is another one that's added into the mix. Another comic, but the next one isn't out yet. So I've read the first 4 of the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. Beautiful, gorgeous, cute, fluffy books, and I love them. Highly recommend. These are just the cutest ever. Trigger warning for like mental illness and stuff like that. And there's in the first and maybe in one of the later ones, there's like content warning of like trigger warnings of homophobic kind of behaviour. But that's going to happen in a lot of real world LGBTQ like books. So just be aware if you're going to read these that exists in this world. But I'm happy to be in the middle of the series of this. It's just waiting for the next one to come out because I just adore these. They're quick reads, so I don't mind, and I just really enjoy them. And another comic series that I'm in the middle of is I Hate Fairyland. And I've only got the first two of these, so I do need to get the rest. And I think there's 4 altogether, something along those lines. But this is just hilarious. There's just this little girl who isn't actually a little girl, stuck in fairyland, trying to get out, and it's just so funny. And if you want to laugh, I highly recommend. But yeah, that's everything I physically have that I'm in the middle of. So let me just jump onto my tablet and I will tell you everything else that's in this list. You would think this is everything, but it's really not. I have thrown myself into too many series and I need to get them read. So that is my aim for the rest of the year and probably going into next year, is to just get through the series that I'm already reading. And that isn't to mention that next month I'm starting the Lord of the Rings series. Luckily, that's only 4 books that I need to get through because we're reading The Hobbit as well. So that'll be done by the end of this year because it's a buddy read and we're doing like the final 4 months of the year, 4 books. So fun. Why do I do this to myself? So mentioning another comic series that I've started reading, I also have Saga. These are like sci-fi comics. This man and woman and their baby are on the run because they've abandoned the war efforts, so they're kind of wanted criminals and they shouldn't like be together, they shouldn't have this baby together, and they're on the run basically. But it's so good and it's just amazing family dynamics, and it's just, you're so scared for the baby all the time because they have a baby and they're on the run. I dread to think what it's going to be like when this baby's a toddler. Just saying. But yeah, I'm in the middle of, I've read the first 2 of those, so I've started those. Another comic series that I've read the first one of is Space Battle Lunchtime, and this is just a very quirky little comic about a food competition set in space, basically, and it's just nice. So I've started that. Another really nice comic series is Tea Dragons. I've read the Tea Dragon Society. I think there's another 1 or 2 comics for that, so shouldn't take me long when I come to buy them. But very cute. It's dragons that grow their own tea, and then the people looking after the dragons harvest and sell the tea, and it's just super cute. It's nothing horrible, it's nothing that hurts them, it's just the dragons make tea and I want one. I want a tea dragon, they're just so cute. But yes, that's also a series that I started. So another book is the Wayfarers series. I read my first Becky Chambers book, which was The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and I adored it. The found family in that was just amazing and super cute, and I loved it. So I want to read the rest of that series, and maybe more Becky Chambers books will be added to my collection eventually. Another series I've started is the Between Earth and Sky series, which is the Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, and soon to come out is the Fevered Star, so I'm excited to get to that soon because I rated the Black Sun I think 4 stars and I really did enjoy it, so excited to get to that. I've also read Brandon Sanderson's middle grade series, or started the middle grade series of Alcatraz, like the Alcatraz series versus the Evil Librarians. So I need to get on getting all the rest of the books of that on my Kindle, because I did enjoy the first one and it was really interesting to see that world and the group of people built their relationships. So carry on with that at some point. I also, I think it's just coming out like within this kind of beginning of August, end of July, maybe it came out. But I need to carry on with the Scholomance series by Naomi Novik. So The Last Graduate is coming out soon. I read the first book like a while ago this year. Probably wasn't even that long ago. I've just read a lot of books since. But I read the first book a little while ago. I enjoyed it. Some of it scared me a little bit, so I'm excited to see what happens next with the characters in that one. I also need to continue on with Three Dark Crowns. So the next book in that series is One Dark Throne. And the ending, I knew how it was going to end, kind of out of guesswork. So it was a little bit predictable, and then I kind of knew what was coming. But I am excited to see how the second book goes because of the way the last one ended and how the dynamics between the three sisters who are fighting for the crown goes next. So I'll see what comes next with that. That's by Kendara Blake, by the way. So that's got to add on to my list at some point. I also need to read the Evercruel Kingdom, which is the Rinchapika book, I think. And that's the second book from the Never Tilting World, which is another book that I thought was really lovely. It was quite dark, but I really enjoyed the characters in the book, specifically the sister, I think it's Hallie or Hal, something like that, on the light side of the world, and the I think her name was Lan on the dark side. They were my two favourite characters, so I'm excited to see what happens next with them. And I think that's everything that I've actually started. I do also have a couple of books other than The Wheel of Time that I'm about to start, so I'll mention those two. So I have the Texclean series. I don't know how to say that word, but it's Memory Called Empire. I have it just here. Yes, it's that series. This is a book that I'm going to be jumping in literally knowing nothing. I just know that it's sci-fi in some way, and I'm reading it for the Interstellar Book Club. So as far as I know, there's only 2 books in that series though, so that'll go by pretty quickly. I also am going to be starting Gear Breakers, which is just coming out in this month in August. And I know there's going to be a sequel to that, so I don't know how long that series is going to be, so I'm excited to get into that. As far as I know, that's also sci-fi. I'll be starting Cal's Moving Castle. I don't know whether I'm going to be reading that as a standalone or a series yet, because I've heard the first one's the best one. So I'm doing that as part of Everybody Read this month. I'm going to be starting Dune at some point soon. I think that's next month's. I think I'm reading that with people next month as Buddy Read. So I'll be starting Dune because the movie's going to be coming out at some point. So I would like to read it before the movie comes out. And I've already mentioned Lord of the Rings. So that is a stupid amount of series that I'm currently in the middle of. And I need to tackle them because it's crazy that I've gotten myself into this. It really is, and I need to get through these books, so fingers crossed. Because Buddy Reads are pulling me in, so I have to keep reading all these books that other people want to read, and I keep getting FOMO so bad. You coming, Lynx? My cat wants to say hello, so yes. Say hi, Lynx. So yeah, they are all the books that I want to read or get through within like this year and towards into next year as well. And I need to get myself out of this mess because it's a stupid amount of books that I'm currently reading. So that's everything for this video, guys, and let me know how many series you're currently in the middle of, because this is insane. Let me know if your book series that you're in the middle of number is insane too, please, because I need to feel better about this. And I will see you guys in my next video. TTFN, bye!